Welcome to the Artist Academy podcast. Andrea Earhart here, muralist, adventurer, and your host as I interview inspiring artists who are killing it in the art game to show you that it's completely possible to make a great living doing the thing you love to do. We highlight the business side of art to help you reach more customers, increase profits, and ultimately live a life of creative freedom. Enjoy the show. This episode is sponsored by the Mural Master Program inside of the Artist Academy Advanced membership. This program is specifically designed to help you with every step of the mural process, from coming up with an idea to finding a wall to paint it on to pitching your ideas to businesses, and finally, of course, I teach you exactly how to paint large scale. Murals are a lot of fun and a great way to grow your art business. I know, because it has been one of the top ways that I've been able to grow my own art business as quickly as I have. With several years of experience as a muralist, I've dialed down the painting techniques, the proposals, the pitching, the whole bit. And now I've compiled it into one resource for you called the Mural Master Program. This is included inside of the Artist Academy Advanced membership, and I would love to invite you to join us by going to artistacademy.co, that is artistacademy.co, and click the link to see the Mural Master Program and learn more. And that's it, so let's get on with the show. Hello, we have a special edition of the Artist Academy podcast today. I have my husband on here. They can't see you wave.
Oh, of course, yes. The podcast. I'm air waving.
So, my husband, Ryan Sanders. So, technically, my name is Andrea Sanders now, legally. But a lot of people, I think, from Instagram and from the podcast don't really know that. I think I still go by Andrea Earhart.
You're welcome. People now know how to spell your last name.
That's true. Andrea Sanders is pretty basic.
But you can spell it.
It's not quite as artsy, though. I don't know. But I love it. It's amazing. So
you're welcome.
Here I have Ryan Sanders, my husband, on here. And just to give you guys a little bit of background as to why I would bring my husband on an art podcast, it's mostly because Ryan is the sales force behind a lot. Oh, hello, Doran. Oh, by the way, we are actually going live in the Artist Academy Advanced right now too, just on video, just to ask, so they can ask any questions and just to, yeah. It's also the Artist Academy students have submitted some questions for Ryan to ask me and just us to talk about in general.
Yep.
As we go along. But anyway, so we are live in the Artist Academy Advanced Facebook group right now. So just to get back to why I would bring my husband on this podcast, because he's basically the sales force behind my art business. You know, like I think of it a lot of as like I have a lot of ideas, and well, as Ryan does actually, he has.
I have a lot of ideas, most of them bad, but occasionally I get a good one, and she paints it.
Yeah, and so Ryan has been in business basically for himself, essentially. He is an incredible insurance agent.
Probably the best.
Probably. As you can see, he's modest.
Yes. I think being humble is one of my biggest weaknesses.
Yeah. So Ryan has been doing sales basically his whole life. He is a born salesman. And I think anybody, if you talk to him for 10 minutes, he often gets asked, "Are you in sales?" Just because he has a very persuasive, loud demeanor about him. And so he spoke to his, or he went with his gut and is now a salesman. Yep. And so he's been doing...
I thought I was going to go to college to be a doctor, and that lasted all of about a semester. And it's amazing what your GPA can do whenever you decide you don't want to be a doctor and just want to be a salesperson. It's great.
It was a lot less studying.
Yes, a lot less studying. It was a lot easier. College was really easy when all you needed was a C.
Yeah, so you are a microbiology?
Microbiology major. I did stick with that major.
Yeah. And then he graduated college from University of Texas.
Hook 'em horns.
And then he moved back here to Springfield, Missouri, where we eventually met and where I went to college. And Ryan is an insurance agent. Is that what you call it? Insurance agent?
Insurance agent, producer.
Okay. Producer,
yeah.
agent. Okay.
Yeah.
So he sells
They're synonymous.
insurance to businesses, essentially.
Correct.
And he's been doing that for over 10 years, to the point to where he has his book of business all lined out. And, he's worked really hard, especially in the beginning, for several years. And now he's at a point to where it's kind of coasting, actually.
Yes.
And it's really inspiring because it's hilarious, because Ryan makes a little over double of what I make with income, just to be completely out there. But he works less than half as much as I do. Don't do that. You can hear that on the podcast.
Fine.
He's fidgeting. So naturally, since he has so much spare time, I'm like, hey, I am still building my business. Can you help me? So all the time I ask Ryan, hey, can you help paint? Can you help me, go project something late at night? Can you do this? That it's literally all the time.
It's to the point now where people don't know what I do for a living. They think that I work for Andrea. That's the question that I get asked more often is, how long have you worked for Andrea? So, so I no longer sell insurance. I move ladders and pick up paint buckets and clean brushes.
It was really funny because I remember when we were working on the Greetings from Springfield mural, of which he, helped me get permission to paint on that building because he knew the business owners, basically. So he helps, connect and really sell the ideas to a lot of people. And anyway, so I was painting the Greetings from Springfield mural, and I remember the news station came up to interview me, and Ryan was there moving ladders and helping fill in, the blanks on a lot of things. And he joked, and he was like, yeah, I'm just the ladder mover. And they wrote him in the newspaper as the ladder mover.
Yes. So I knew I'd made it in my artistic career whenever I was in the newspaper as her ladder mover. So for all you ladder movers out there, just know that you have a future and you are cared for and people love your work.
Yeah. So, Ryan is a lot of the behind the scenes and mostly the sales advice. So I go to him a lot for sales advice. And Ryan and I did a live here in the Arts Academy Advanced on how to pitch yourself, because he is the master at pitching things, and he's really helped me to perfect my pitch to a lot of businesses and just to pitch murals and different ideas and just all these things. So we actually did a full-on training about pitching in the Arts Academy Advanced. If you are in there, just go check it out. It's in your Arts Academy Advanced website. So we're not really going to focus on that too much. I am going to ask you some sales questions, but also we've had some Arts Academy Advanced members write in some questions. And so is that where we want to start?
Or we can start from the beginning, like how we met.
Oh.
And yes, I mean, because that's one of the big questions that a lot of people want to know is that how did she land something like me? Much less how did I manage to score her? So to give you a little background of how we met, we were friends of friends, and Andrea had a Facebook post online about how she needed a place to keep her stuff, because at the time she was working for Bass Pro Shop. And when she was working for Bass Pro Shop, she was working 70-hour weeks, gone for 3 weeks out of the month, and was never in town. So she needed a place to keep her stuff.
I was desperate. I didn't have any friends, places that I could go in. I was like, I did not want to post to Facebook, but I did. And Ryan was one of the first ones to comment, and then I immediately took it down. I was like, okay. And I think you kind of jokingly was like, hey.
I was joking, but at the same time, it's like, hey, good-looking girl wants to move into the house? No problem. Have a spare bedroom. It's all yours.
Yeah.
So she moved in, and really for the first year or so, probably we hardly saw each other other than when you were in town.
We would party.
We'd party, yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah,
we were great friends.
Yeah, super. Best wingwoman
Just
ever.
friends, too. Yeah, exactly. Actually, we did. We wingwoman and wingman for each other. I'm more for you.
I don't know. I helped you a lot.
He did not wingman for me. And, I think it all makes sense now. He never was like...
I don't know. I don't think you would have become the person you were without my guidance as a wingman.
And then, so I was traveling a lot, and slowly I traveled less and less.
Yep.
And as Bass Pro needed me less and less, and so as I started to kind of build my, reputation for painting around locally, that it was a very slow churn of that. And so I started being around a lot more.
Yep. And then we went to a party at Lake of the Ozarks, which, if you don't know where Lake of the Ozarks is, Google it. You'll enjoy it.
Oh, or if you watch the Netflix show Ozark.
It's nothing like the show Ozarks.
Kind of like that.
I mean, I guess the locals are like that, but it doesn't touch on... Anyway, we're digressing. But yes, we went to a party at Lake of the Ozarks and all went swimming at night. And I thought we were just casually swimming, and Andrea
just
kissed me.
Just a little much.
Andrea kissed me and ruined every good thing that we had.
And he immediately was like, I'm going to marry you. On the first kiss, he said, I'm going to marry you. I was like, whoa!
So, I mean, like I said, when you know what you want, you got it.
And that was 3.5 years ago? 3?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's 3.5.
We spent more time trying to figure out how long we've lived together / been together /
We've lived together for 5.5 years, I think, and we've been together for 3.5.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
way too long.
I feel so loved. and then a year later, we were engaged.
Yep.
And you proposed in Thailand.
Yep.
That was pretty epic. And then we just got married here in February.
Yeah, pre-COVID. So you're welcome.
Yeah.
We got married when things were still good, and then after we got married, COVID, quarantines, the world is ending. So I apologize actually to everyone because
the world ends after you get married.
Yep.
It's what we get after that.
Yes. So, but nonetheless, we're here.
Okay. So now that we've told them our backstory,
yes.
Where do we have some questions?
We do have some questions. We have several questions that some of your listeners / Artist Academy Advanced students have written in, and they are curious to know more about Andrea. So I guess one of them was, what is your favorite part of our wedding and why was it marrying me?
Oh my God.
We'll just jump right into the good stuff.
Oh my gosh. My favorite part about the wedding was actually probably the honeymoon, going to Antarctica.
The honeymoon with me, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
You made it entertaining.
Yes.
Yeah, we also went to Antarctica for a honeymoon, which was pretty epic. And I don't know that you would ever go to something like that because Ryan, you will travel. You like it.
I like
but
traveling.
He's not like an avid traveler until I came into the picture and I was like, hey, let's go to Antarctica. And he's like, okay, sure, why not? Ryan's a yes guy. In anything I want to do, it's rarely no. He will always say yes.
It's true.
Okay, do we have any actual art questions here?
I think we do. But for the most part, it's all about me. All right, so what gets you out of a creative slump?
Oh, who asked this? I think it was Michelle, or no?
I did not write down names.
Dang it. Oh. What gets me out of a creative slump?
Yep. Other than me giving you awesome ideas to push you through that slump.
I think when you leave for a weekend, then I think
this is probably true.
I'm more focused. Basically, getting out of a creative slump. So I actually was just talking to the Artist Academy students about this here recently, and I had this realization not too long ago that was like, whenever you're bored or whenever you're putting off things that you don't necessarily want to do, it's because you don't like what you're doing. You don't like what you're painting. And I was like, whoa, like just having that like realization of like, okay, I love painting, but painting animals is what I did for a long time. And honestly, I painted animals because I was like, I think this will sell. And my business mind was very much like, okay, like if I paint, someone's favorite animal, they're going to be compelled to buy that. And it happened several times. Like I've sold several penguins because people are like, oh, I love penguins. Or like giraffes, our friend Michelle.
The giraffe one.
Yeah, our friend Michelle, like she commissioned me to do a giraffe. She was like, oh, or her husband did for a present. But, after a while I kind of got in a creative slump and I was like, do I really like to paint animals? And, I think a lot of with painting is, the story behind it. Why do you love it? And I was like, I don't like telling someone that like you like animals. Like I love animals, but I'm not like an over extreme animal advocate, and I'm not like, I don't collect animals, and it's just, I like animals.
This house would beg to differ. We collect animals. we have 3 dogs, a cat, I don't know how many fish. If plants could be considered animals, we have millions of those.
But yeah, but as what I was getting to is I wasn't feeling inspired, so I really like dug into it, and I kind of like created my own little formula of what I'm working at lately, and it's to like pick like your favorite things, like your 3 favorite things, and put them together in a painting. So here recently I did clouds. So I had a thing on clouds. I was like, I just love looking at clouds outside. Like all the time we'll be driving around and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at the pinks in that clouds. And like, he can verify. I'm always like, oh my gosh, I gotta take a picture. Slow down. Like, I love clouds. And so I like animals too. And so I combined it with just the cutest animals. And so as you've seen lately in some of my paintings, I've been just combining the things that I love together. Like I painted a whale and a mouse together just because it's so fun. And so whenever people are in a creative slump, I would bet to say that it's because you're doing something that other people might like of you to do, or it's because you're doing something that might sell like I did, or, you're living up to an expectation that someone else has set for you, or you want to please someone else, but you're not really pleasing yourself. So I would say how to get out of a creative slump is just like look deep, like look really deep. If you like flowers and rainbows, and then paint that. I'm going from my perspective. I could paint glitter all the time. And I think for a long time too, like I didn't paint with glitter and pink because I thought some people would take me as a child, and I want to be taken seriously.
Yes, of course. You're a very serious pink rainbow artist.
So, yeah, I would say just like dig deep. And one way I do this is I get on Pinterest and I start pinning like all the different things and just like all the different color palettes that I love. And usually it's pastel pinks and all that, and just all these different ideas of clouds. And actually, I'm about to do one with hot air balloons, and it's going to be a surrealist thing, and I'm so excited for it. But yeah, so that's my how to get out of a creative slump.
All right, question number 2. All right, so how do you focus on one thing when you have a million things going on? And you have a million things going on.
Yeah, and you can attest
really
to this. Because I had like 3 events in 1 week, and I remember it was like with Missouri State here recently, and I was like, did you watch my live? He's like, I don't know what you're doing. You're doing a million things, like all the time. And it's not because he doesn't care, it's because I'm literally doing a million things all the time. Yes. I was like, he's always asking me like, what are you doing today? I'm like, I told you, this is what I'm doing today. He's like, I thought that was tomorrow. You're doing something completely random tomorrow. Yes. And yeah, it's literally here, there, and everywhere. So first off, so is it an organization question or...
That was pretty much what it is. So okay. It could be an organization question. How do you organize your thoughts? How do you organize your day? How do you stay productive when you have so many things going on in your life? I'm just going to interpret that question and
okay. So basically, I keep everything in my phone. Everything is on Google Calendar. Everything, literally. Sometimes I even set alarms, and I will like set an alert for the day because I know I'll forget. And sometimes I set things like certain Mondays in a row if I have to book things. And it's just, I write every single thing down. Everything. That's basically how I keep organized. Like if it doesn't get written down, it gets forgotten.
True. I'm the same way. If it doesn't make my calendar, my phone calendar, I will not show up to that. It has to go, and it has to go in immediately too.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you don't, you'll forget about it. And yeah, needs to happen. All right, so what is your favorite part about being an artist? I know this is a softball question, and this is a standard question, but at the same time, you can interpret it however you want. So what is your favorite part about being an artist?
It's a really fluffy question.
Yeah, real fluffy. It's like a cloud.
It's like a cloud. Well, my favorite part is, I know it kind of stems back to us as a couple, kind of, like you work for yourself. And I work for myself, and so it makes...
And I work for you
planning
sometimes, unfortunately.
Life, yeah, and it makes planning life really easy. And, it's just... For instance, we're getting ready to go to Bali, hopefully, in February for a 1-year anniversary. And, I don't have to ask off for that. I don't have to... And you don't have to ask off for that. Nope. We just have to make sure our business is taken care of and our clients are taken care of before and after and scheduled. And it's up to us. Like, it is all up to us to plan it. And that's by far my favorite part of being an artist. Other than, like, getting to do what you love, every single day. Because painting every day, I feel like the time just flies. I am never like, is it 5 o'clock yet? I'm always like, oh my gosh, it's 5 o'clock already. Yeah. Every single day. And it's amazing.
You cannot put a price on being self-employed.
No.
On having your own, there's no, I have 2 weeks paid vacation. I have this many sick days. No, you are your own boss. The sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want to do. Being self-employed allows you the freedom to do whatever it is you want to do. And you cannot put a price on that.
Yeah. And I love every year, we decide if I'm getting a raise every year. And,
Yes.
and it's really more him because I'm currently making $85 an hour and it's going to go up to $95 an hour in January. And I come from humble beginnings. Ryan, not so much. Ryan, okay. Ryan is very upper middle class growing up. Mine is I grew up.
I had a business from when I was 10 years old. I had my own lawn business. I worked from when I could work.
Ryan's dad is very similar to him, so he was basically his mentor, and so he really took him under his wing and showed him,
If anyone, Dad came from humble beginnings.
Yeah,
he started the humble beginnings.
Right, I'm just saying you did not.
No.
Ryan did not. So, which actually, it's a really great comparison, though, or a really great dynamic with us, too, because I'm always trying to find the cheap way. I'm always wanting to give someone a deal. I'm always thinking, how can I create the lowest cost possible? And Ryan is you get what you pay for. That's his motto. Oh, he's you get what you pay for.
Yes.
You can't.
Don't buy the cheapest stuff.
Yeah.
Buy
and he's always
quality stuff.
telling me to up my price. He's you got to charge more. Especially in the beginning. I remember I was making $50 an hour or maybe about that.
Less.
A few years ago and basically when I started living with you, and it was you who was really you need to up your price. And I was okay, oh my gosh. And then I went to 75, and then I went to 85, and now we're about to go to 95, and it makes me sweat a little bit. Yes. But Ryan's really one that I'll go to him and I'll be hey, I think I'm going to charge this much for this project. And not so much anymore, but more so in the beginning. Because now I've pretty much got it. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'll run it by you. But in the beginning especially, he just helped me know my worth, which was really nice.
Yeah. And it's a balancing game. A lot of it is where you are in your artistic career and stuff. But at the same time, do not be afraid to ask for more, to up your price, do anything. I mean, the worst anyone can ever say is no. So always ask for what you feel is your worth.
Yeah, and if you don't get it and you really want to do it, especially if you're in your beginning part of your career, you can always be okay, but just try for more because you never know.
All right, so
I have a question for you.
Fire away. I didn't know that's how we're doing things. I thought I was controlling this podcast, but okay, fair away.
Well, now that we kind of talked about where we came from and stuff, and I am really curious. So I've never asked him this before ever. I don't know the answer of what he's gonna give, but I think it would be very interesting to just hear your perspective of how I've grown my art career, because it's very different from when I first moved in with you 5 years ago, and because you see all the behind the scenes stuff, because everybody else gets the podcast, which is some behind the scenes, but most people get Instagram, which is just the highlight reel. But
Instagram is so real. Everyone's perspective on Instagram is exactly how they are in real life.
Yeah, everybody's having an amazing day.
Yeah, clouds, glitter.
Yeah, and so what is your perspective from when I moved in with you to establishing and then starting the Artist Academy?
It's true.
Let's get into that.
I mean, so obviously when you first moved in, it was clear that you were hardworking. Again, you were Bass Pro. You were working 70-hour weeks. You were gone for 3 weeks at a time.
He's usually not this nice to me.
You dressed terribly. Oh. You had atrocious taste and clothing, but at the same time you worked hard at it. You were working very hard to not look great, but there you go. But no, you always had the work ethic. In fact, you probably had a higher work ethic than I did, which was great. In fact, Andrea, I had quite a few roommates through the years, and I think Andrea is the only one that ever paid on time and in full, and probably even paid ahead of time. I think there was times you paid 6 months in advance.
I didn't want to forget it.
Yes.
But I was never home. I was here you go. Just save that room.
So that was a huge bonus. Getting actually paid to rent, which is I guess what you're supposed to do.
We've had a lot of roommates in the past, and they were all so fun. But
so fun.
They were fun. Okay, they were not the most reliable, but they were fun.
Yes. So I remember when you first talked about you wanted to have a teaching course online. And I didn't know really anything about online or sales or anything like that. So, explain to me, how are you going to do this? And And so she kind of explained how she was going to start the Artist Academy, and she's like, I know so many really talented artists, but they don't know how to, market themselves, how to be how to run a business. They're just so talented. But they can't get beyond that. And so she explained it. I'm like, you know what, this could work, because when you originally went to school, you're a painting major now, or art major. Or
it was painting, yeah.
Painting major now, but when you first went to school, you wanted to be a teaching, or you started your teaching.
Yeah, well, I first went with business, and then I went to be an art teacher, and then I went with painting. So it's literally everything.
That's what it was. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So it was more I trust you. You've got a background in teaching. You clearly know what you're doing, with your art career. I know she mentioned at the time, she's like, you know what, my first goal in life was to make $100,000 a year painting. And so, she accomplished that, but she was, working all the time. So it was
all the time.
So she's like, now I have to figure out how to make $100,000 a year working kind of like how your schedule is. You would enjoy.
How much do you think you work a week? How many hours do you think you put
I have my phone on me all the time. And if I have my phone on me, I'm working. So I can be...
But how many hours do you think you put in?
It's hard to say. My hours maybe count for more than your hours.
15 hours a week?
It could
maybe.
be. Yeah, it's
some are more than others.
Some are more than others.
I would say 15. He works 15 hours a week and makes over double what I do. That's what I aspire to.
But I have my phone on me at all times.
Right.
And
yeah,
so,
that's fine.
So it allows me to
you've
work.
set yourself up to do this. Like, you worked hard and you were strategic. So it's okay.
But that was like her goal, was she's like, listen, it's not all about, making this money. It's about working, smarter and figuring out a way to enjoy the finer things in life, and to have some time off. And still make what you feel that you want to make in life. And, everyone has a different number for what they feel they're comfortable making in life. But yeah, it's you got back down to that point.
Yeah.
And you made it.
You
landed me. You landed me. So that was your single biggest.
So humble about both of us. Yeah, we're just nothing else to aspire to. Yeah.
So I was supportive. Clearly, I was very supportive of you starting the Artist Academy. And
are you surprised at how it's going or anything? Is this how you expected? What was your?
I don't know what I expected, but I'm not surprised by how it's going, because again, when I first met you, you were working 70-hour weeks. You were working all the time on and you still put in that same work ethic here. But I have to break you away from working right now. I mean, she'll come home at 8:00 at night, like, I have this. And I'm like, or we could not do any of that, do that tomorrow and watch Netflix or do something other than that.
And last year, so whenever I started the Artist Academy, which was last year, January, so the whole last year, I didn't watch Netflix at all. And at all. We didn't watch at all. And now this year we do. And I think that's a difference.
We watch it from 10 p.m. till midnight.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that's a difference in just level of workaholism that I'm working through. Last year, no, I was no, I found my purpose. I need to educate, and I need to make a painting career work too. And all that's together. And now this year, I'm now working towards it, not working as much. And
finding that balance in life. You need to have a proper balance in life.
Yeah, so there's no burnout anymore. But he's really patient. You're very patient with me.
I am not.
He's very self-entertaining. I can be doing all these different other things, and he just entertains himself, which is so nice. He's not needy. You're not needy at all.
No, you could give me a zip on a roll of toilet paper and stick me in the middle of a field for hours, and I would be just fine.
Yeah. That's nice. It is nice.
It's great.
Nice to have someone who's supportive and
absolutely. And
if you could just have the baby for us, that would be even
I would knock it out in about five months. No big deal. I don't know what the big deal is about having babies. They complain about, but I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Okay.
You put on a little weight.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, anyway, so it's good to have your perspective on it, I guess.
Yes. Like I said, I never doubted.
You never doubted, really?
Never doubted.
Oh, but one thing that you do sometimes is I'll be okay, here recently I was hey, I might schedule myself Mondays and Tuesdays for Artist Academy and then just paint Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you're wait a second. Don't turn down painting jobs, like these big painting jobs. So I feel like he kind of like helped me balance it a bit.
Yes.
You know? Because I feel like one works with the other.
Yes.
Kind of.
You need both. You need time off.
Yeah.
I would schedule every weekend or every, like, somewhere. Go travel and do something. And you have forced yourself to work some weekends, and it kills my schedule of having fun.
I need, like, a decompression day. Ryan is, like, a very outspoken, loud, likes to be around people all the time. And I need like one day a week where nobody talks to me at all and I don't do anything. And then I'm fine. And that's just terrible to him. He's like, no, that sounds depressing. I'm like, no, it sounds amazing. Yes. So please leave.
And speaking of being around lots of people, when is the next mural meetup? Because the first one was amazing. I know there's a few people that we're not going to invite. Brianna.
Brianna asked this question, and we know her.
Yeah, we don't know her at all.
I love.
So, yes. Yeah, so the first mural meetup, for those who didn't attend, didn't make it, and it was up in Iowa. We were up there for 2.5 weeks, I believe-ish. A bunch of Artist Academy students flew in from all across the U.S., and we painted, I don't know, how many murals did he paint? 20 murals around this place? It's hard to describe what is.
It was too much.
It was a very, very long project. It was a lot of fun. And you know, Andrea gave me the speech before we get up there, like, leave my students alone.
Don't pester
them. You know, be nice. And so I was, of course. Well, then probably I think it was the first afternoon, we got all the students in there. You know, anytime you have a bunch of people get together that really they've never met before. I mean, obviously they've met online, but they've never really met. And they're artists, and artists stereotypically can tend to be a little bit introverted at first, which this group was very good. But we get them together, we pour 2 pitchers of margaritas for the group, and all of a sudden everyone is best friends, and just the stories come out.
Yeah, this is the first group dinner we had.
And it was a lot of fun. So back to the question, everyone wants to know, when is this next mural meetup? Where are we headed? Who are we inviting? Not Brianna. Doran is back to being roommates with me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, I'm keeping my ears open though. It's definitely happening again.
Yeah, it will be this summer.
Yeah, it'll probably be during the summer, and I don't know. We're really waiting on a big mural. Although I'm someone who, like, I'll just do something. I have no idea how to do it. Like with the mural meetup, and we just like, okay, meet us there. We have no idea how we're going to do this, and then we did it. So now I know a lot of things that I would do differently. Nothing particularly bad. I think we maybe took on a little bit too much. And so the next one, I want it to be just one big mural that's like maybe a landscape scene or something really interesting that a lot of people would like to do, you know, and we'll get a bunch of people and we'll all do one mural instead of last time how we were all spread out working on 10 at once. We were literally working on 10 at once over the span of a week.
And working like 10-hour days.
Yeah, it was just too much. And we all had fun, and like we had a pool party, and we went out for hot dogs and ice cream and like all this. It was fun. But next time I'm going to lessen the workload, up the one-on-one time a bit more, and do a little bit more instruction. And more margaritas, I think.
Yes, and a driver's ed piece will come into this as well. Habak. We are going to let's find something near a race course or something like that.
Don't
where we can
clap. You can hear that.
We'll take her. We need to take Habak to a race course and have her drive
bumper cars.
Oh, there we go. We'll do a bumper cars course.
Okay.
All right. So, what is your favorite drink? See, I told people to ask personal questions, not just business questions. We've covered a lot of business questions. But what is your favorite drink?
Yeah, which makes sense because, you know, we met partying, you know, like
yes.
Back in the day, like, right? And in college and post-college, we like to have fun, right?
Yes.
Ryan
and on this very special podcast, we are drinking wine currently.
Yeah. We forgot to say that. Cheers.
Here, can you hear that?
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
Sounds like we broke a glass. But so Ryan and I like to have fun, basically, and we don't have as much anymore. I guess we're very settled down. But I actually have a new favorite drink. And I'm actually going to make tomorrow. So tomorrow is Halloween. This is Friday night for anybody listening to the podcast that airs on Tuesday. Tomorrow in live time is Jenny's on here. Hold on a second. So we just saw Jenny's comment. So tomorrow is Halloween, and just to answer really quickly, my favorite drink. Oh, Jenny likes what was it?
Gin.
Jenny likes gin. So Jenny was at the mural meetup, just in the whole alcohol thing.
Jenny was the only person who brought her own alcohol. I was so impressed. She had a cooler now, and I mean she was driving around a bunch of different places, but she had a cooler. She had gin. Jenny came prepared.
Clapping.
I can't help but clap. That's what I do. I clap.
Okay, next time we'll tell people bring a cooler and bring your own alcohol. Yeah. BYOB, and that way we'll all share it.
That's true. Doran, if I pick you up from the airport one more time and you do not have a cooler, you're out.
Yeah. Jenny says, yes, more margaritas, and her favorite was the pink wall with leaves. Exactly, because the pink wall with leaves was the fun one, the really interesting one, and that's what I want to do next time. I have a really fun, beautiful one that we all do, and we all just concentrate on, and we take our time. Okay, anyway, my favorite drink is actually a new drink that I've just discovered, and I'm making it tomorrow for Halloween. It's actually called Butterfly Kisses, and I did not name it that. A local bar here, and it's like a local bar / diner thing here. I just had it, and it's basically you take strawberry puree, so strawberry puree, champagne, a dash of lemon, and a little bit of vodka, and you put it all together, and you put a little strawberry on the cup, and that is my favorite drink, right there. And I'm gonna put little glass eyeballs in it with a straw for tomorrow. Of course, because
you can't just have a drink.
Well,
you have to.
You gotta be aesthetically pleasing. Food. Whenever we eat, I like it to be aesthetically pleasing. Sushi, like we just had tonight with your family, aesthetically.
Doran,
pleasing.
I am not picking you up from county jail. That is afterwards. We will be in county jail together, Doran.
Doran is commenting on here.
Yes. Doran was my favorite student, Andrea's third favorite student for some reason at the mural meetup, and Doran and I got along great. We had a good time at the mural meetup, and which is why he is now my official favorite Artist Academy student.
Doran stayed with us for 7 days and painted with us for 7 days. And
we were roommates.
Oh, Olga says, I vote for Brianna at the mural meetup.
Unfortunately, yes. Your vote doesn't count, Olga. I'm sorry. We're not taking votes anymore. The voting ended about an hour ago.
Olga was also there.
Yes.
Shout out to Doran, Olga, Brianna, Jenny, all you guys. Yes. And you guys didn't actually, I think of this all the time. I'm like, they didn't leave the group after they met us.
Yes.
Nobody has left the group from after the mural meetup.
And we even had someone join that met us up at...
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Alex. He showed up.
Yes.
Yeah. But everybody that was at the mural meetup and met with us and painted with us and knows us has not left the group. And
true.
I take note to that. I was like, great, we did not scare them off. Which is actually, including Ryan in the group, I was like, okay. I was sweating. I was like, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. All right, so next question. What is your favorite destination? You've traveled all over the world. What is your favorite place?
What is my favorite destination? You know this.
Well, Thailand. That's an obvious question. Only because we got engaged there.
Only. Yes.
Only.
No. I went backpacking around Thailand. Actually, it was when I first moved in with you. And I would just move my stuff in. And then I was painting around for Bass Pro. And then I just went over to Thailand and backpacked around for 30 days. And then came back and flew back here. And then I was home a lot more after that. And that's kind of like, I don't know. It's just like a memory. But Thailand, it's amazing. And I've just raved about it since. I could have stayed longer than a month with just a backpack. And yeah, we ended up going back. I don't know, what was it?
A little bit of a different trip the second time you went back, huh?
Yeah, it was. We went back in style. The second time Ryan actually won a work trip. And so they took us around to all these 5-star hotels. It was crazy. Which the first time I went, we were staying in hostels that were $10 a night, and it was so fun. Either way, I'm totally fine. We got engaged. So
we got engaged still there. Yes, yes, we did.
Yeah, and so Southeast Asia, that's definitely it. So Doran on here said Ryan. Best roommate, aka only roommate.
That's exactly right. We were going to kick her out next time. She's gone. Her and Brianna can love each other. And...
Oh, they don't know the inside joke.
That's true.
You can't. Okay.
All right. So I think that pretty much does it for the questions for you. I did have a question of what is your favorite and least favorite part about helping Andrea?
Oh, yeah. What is your favorite part? Let's start with the good.
Favorite part. Favorite part is that you work hard. So I never have a doubt on a project where we're going to a project that something is like we're unprepared, something's going to happen. Like
I'll handle it.
You'll handle it. Every project that comes along, you don't get flustered. You work through it and everything turns out all right.
I got you. I got you.
Well, I got you, but you don't freak out. You don't, even when things go bad, like it's you push through it, we get done. I don't get yelled at.
Usually
too
it's
much.
Just like a time constraint is the only thing that I'm like, okay, we got to get this. It's like a deadline. But
Yes.
other than that, it's like we'll figure out how to paint it or
True.
stuff like that.
And least favorite part, well, probably the least favorite part is that I get confused for working for her. That's the big one is that, so you work for Andrea. No, I do not.
I love it. I
do not work
when
for
they
Andrea. I
ask
just
that.
move her ladders and wash her paintbrushes and
It's so funny because it's the opposite too. If people don't know me, if they don't follow me on social media or whatever, if I'm going to a work event with you, with people I've never met, they assume that like I don't work all the time because I'm just this like trophy wife beside you. And so there's just because I'm usually like dressed up super cute, and they're just like, oh. What do you work? I'm like, oh gosh.
and then she does. I'm an artist. I'm like, oh okay,
Exactly.
cute. So it's the cliche.
Yeah, I'm like, I paint. And they're like, oh, that's cute. So your husband makes the money. And I'm like, well, okay, whatever. And like, I don't really care if people say that. I would rather not talk about it. But Ryan's like, no. No, she pulls her own weight, is what she says.
Yes.
Oh, the Olga has a comment. She says, you were right to worry, Andrea. Ryan's teasing made us consider leaving.
Olga, you were never leaving. You were right there beside me the whole time. Don't lie. But no, I guess my true least favorite part of working is that sometimes like you work so hard that it gets tough for me to plan trips or plan fun things to do because we can't do
go
this.
Hunting with you.
Yes,
really.
basically to go hunting or do some other fun excursion. Is that I have to?
I would rather work sometimes.
Yes, you'd rather work.
I would rather work than do anything, really.
Yeah, that's just not fun.
It's fun to me though. It's fun because like there's so many different things to do. Like I could be painting, or I could be like making a tutorial, or editing that tutorial, or recording a podcast. Like there's so many things to do. I love what I do, and I love that you don't bug me whenever I'm working, other than to like nudge me and be like, "Hey, let's actually go see our friends sometimes." I'm like, okay.
Yes. All right. So the last thing is, what is one piece of advice that you would give to artists who want to make art their full-time career, but they don't know where to start?
He knows that I ask this on every podcast. So Ryan used to tune in when I did the podcast on Facebook Live. Do you remember that? So I do them on Instagram Live, and Ryan tuned in to every single one of them for the first like 50 interviews on the podcast. And there's like, this is episode 120 something, 130 maybe.
I don't have that many fingers.
And so Ryan would tune in to every single interview that I did when I was first starting out, which meant a lot to me, by the way. And I still remember that because not many people were tuning in the beginning. I would have one or two people watching, and one of those people was Ryan, and I was like,
the other one was my mom.
That's so true. Yeah. Like, you and your mom are very supportive, which I love it. Okay. What's the one piece of advice that I would give to artists? So I would say whenever you're first starting out, and this is mostly just coming from me seeing other artists not doing this, and it's a little cliche, and you might disagree, but I would say you're never too good to do something for free or low cost to build up your portfolio at first. So, and I think a lot of people, they turn things away when they're not busy. And I see that because they're like, no, I'm better than that. And in the beginning only, okay? Once you've established yourself and like, you know, you have a lot of photos for your website and all of that, I think you can up your price. But I think in the beginning, I think just practice is everything. You know, as Ryan was saying, how I worked 70 hours a week in the beginning, and I was working and learning and practicing and painting every single day. And practice, whether someone's paying you to practice or you're doing it alone in your studio, practice is practice. And that, like, if you get good, that's going to be your biggest seller. Because I remember moving in with Ryan in the beginning, and he knew that I was an artist, and I'm sure he was like, okay, yeah, you're good. And then I did a logo for your soccer thing.
Yeah, Lake Country Soccer.
I remember that was the first time he was like, oh, you're actually good at this. And I'm like, yeah. And then I remember him saying exactly, he's like, all right, I can sell this. And I was like, okay. So he sold me to a couple of the business owners to do their logos. And, you know, and he tells me all the time too, he's like, you know, if you have a solid product, the sale is easy. Yeah. I mean, it just takes an ask. And okay, so, yeah. Oh, wait, I have one last question for you that I kind of thought of. So speaking of sales, so Ryan's a sales guy, right? I have a hypothetical question for you. So on pitching, because, you know, as we did I whole pitching live in the Artist Academy, but this is kind of a different kind of pitching. So say you are an artist.
And I am an artist.
I've tried to get him to start an Instagram, be like Abstracts by Ryan or something. I'm like, I can market you. He's like, no. He does not care about being on YouTube at all, which just is crazy to me because you would be a hit on YouTube if you would just do it. But no, he doesn't care. Anyway, if you are an artist, so you were an artist and you had a show, say you were showing your art for the very first time and you had a decent skill. Like you were like, all right, I'm proud of this. I'm going to show the world. This is my first show. And you were like, say we were downtown and you had a show at Art Walk and you had like 20 paintings hanging up, and then you see someone coming in and they're looking at your painting and it's just so obvious that that they're interested. What do you do?
So my big thing, anything with sales is all about telling a story. And a lot of people have a tough time in sales of finding that balance between being too pushy and also that, you know, they just don't want to be in, so they'd rather let them peruse it. And the easy thing is to do is set up all your art and sit at the back and let people look at the art and then bring one to you and buy it. That's the easy thing to do. But there's a point that where you're not too pushy. It's telling the story about how that particular art piece came to be or how this series came to be. Everyone likes to be told a story about why something is what it is. And it doesn't matter if it's a painting, it doesn't matter if it's wine, whatever it is. If you can explain the story of how that painting came to be, what your inspiration was, what your frame of mind was, whatever sales tool you have to explain to give someone a background as to how that painting came to be, they are more likely to buy that than if you just said, hey, this is who I am, welcome to my art studio, feel free to ask any questions. You know, make the ask. Tell them why this art piece came to be, and then don't be afraid to make that ask of, you know, would you like to purchase any pieces? Because
so actually ask them?
Actually ask them.
Okay.
I mean, after you've built it up and you've built you know, if you've explained something, because even someone that doesn't want to be bothered when they're coming and looking at art, everyone wants to listen to that story.
Okay, so as you're walking up to them, you say, hey, would you like me to tell you about this piece?
I don't even give them the choice to list. Just tell them, like, hey, I noticed you were looking at this piece. You know, this was inspired by.
So don't even ask.
Don't even ask. Just go into the story, because when you ask someone a question before you've met them at all, it's very easy for them to say no thanks. You know, we're fine. But when you just start telling them the story, they're compelled to listen. And even just out of pure politeness, they'll listen. And even if they're not interested in the first 5 seconds, 10 seconds, after you've told the story, they become interested. Even if they didn't know they were interested before, now they are interested. Now they are invested. And at the end of it, you know, after you've explained the story behind your artwork, don't be afraid to make that ask, because the worst thing that could happen is they say no, which is right back to where you were. They would have never bought anything to begin with. So...
And I remember, like, as you're talking, I'm like, this makes sense. He's not just like, this isn't just a hypothetical for him, I just want to say, because I remember you telling me stories of sales whenever you worked at Melting Pot. You would sell the wine by telling the story behind the wine, right?
Absolutely.
And he would, like, you would even make up a story, or would they be actually stories?
That's the other thing. Never lie to a customer. Okay. Always make the truth, say what you wanted to say, but never lie.
Always make the truth, say what you wanted to say.
Never, ever lie in sales. Because if you lie in sales, it will come back to get you. People, especially in today's day and age, there's Google, there's phones. People can immediately, if you tell some story about a polar bear that did something and you painted it, they're going to immediately Google and be like, no, you're lying.
So so never lie.
Never lie. Never ever lie in sales. But always, make the truth, say what you want it to be. Give a story. Give a story behind everything. People love buying stuff where they know more about it, and especially with art too, because then they can tell that story to their friends. When they put that piece of artwork on the wall, they're going to repeat that same story that you told them, and that makes that next person more than likely to buy something from you as well, because they've heard about this artist who had this incredible story versus...
They can tell your story.
Exactly.
Or a brief one. A brief version of it.
Yes.
Oh, I like that. It makes it memorable.
It continues on. It's more... It sets it apart from just, this is some artwork piece that I bought, at an art show.
Yeah.
And I'm more likely, too, especially, right now you got the Boy Scouts out selling popcorn, or Girl Scouts out selling Girl Scouts or whatever, or the cookies. Which this is ridiculous. The Girl Scouts have an easy sell. I was a Boy Scout. I had to sell popcorn that no one wanted to buy, popcorn that was terrible, and I still had to go out and sell this stuff. But people are more like, if you make an effort, if you make a conscious effort to sell whatever it is, even out of sympathy, you may even get some sympathy buyers. People are going to buy something.
No way. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Which is part of the reason why I'm not painting just animals as much anymore. Because if someone asked me, they're like, "What's the story? Why do you want that guy who was going to sell my paintings on the cruise ship?"
Yes.
He was like, because I was going to be expected to go and public speak and tell people why I painted it, and. Yeah, I was like, I couldn't even tell him. I was like, I don't know. Animals are cute. Like, no, they wanted a story behind it, which is now a big reason of why I'm going in another direction with it. Because, like, I have crazy dreams. I like this and that. Like, I sleepwalk. So
she is a sleepwalker.
I do, and I'm putting that into my art now, which is like dreams and like dreamlike things, surrealism. Like, this is what's going on in my brain. My head is in the clouds.
If we could find a way for you to paint while you sleepwalk.
Don't tell my workaholic brain that. Okay, all right, that's it. I think that's all.
Taryn loves your hair. Why is your hair pinkish red?
Yeah, so my hair is currently this like weird red color because I'm actually going to do another dose of red conditioner on it tonight because I am going to be Ronald McDonald tomorrow for Halloween.
Isn't Ronald McDonald a male character?
I'm going to make him hot. And what are you going to be, Ryan?
I am going to be the male version of Wendy.
Wendy's.
From Wendy's.
So we're Ronald McDonald at Wendy's tomorrow, and he's going to have a red-headed wig with pigtails. It's gonna.
Or I may dye my hair tonight.
We like to have fun. Okay. Okay. Well, that is it. That's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for coming on and listening to my husband and I babble about. Taryn is just laughing. Babble about art and business, and I hope something is useful for you throughout this, and you take something away from it, and you have your husbands be the ladder movers, because that's potential.
Absolutely. Like I said, for all my ladder movers out there, you're cared for.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. This episode is sponsored by the Mural Master Program inside of the Artist Academy Advanced membership. This program is specifically designed to help you with every step of the mural process. From coming up with an idea, to finding a wall to paint it on, to pitching your ideas to businesses, and finally, of course, I teach you exactly how to paint large scale. Murals are a lot of fun and a great way to grow your art business. I know, because it has been one of the top ways that I've been able to grow my own art business as quickly as I have. With several years of experience as a muralist, I've dialed down the painting techniques, the proposals, the pitching, the whole bit. And now I've compiled it into one resource for you called the Mural Master Program. This is included inside of the Artist Academy Advanced membership, and I would love to invite you to join us by going to artistacademy.co. That is artistacademy.co, and click the link to see the Mural Master Program and learn more. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. If you review our podcast and send a screenshot of that review to me on Instagram, I am Art by Andrea Earhart. I will gladly share your art on my Instagram story with a reach of over 60,000 as a thank you for helping us grow this Artist Academy community. And speaking of community, if you would like to be a part of our absolutely free and very encouraging community on social media, just head over to facebook.com/groups/Artist Academy, and I will see you next week.